Welcome to the Morally Gray Girlies podcast, where two friends explore the morally gray, spicy, smutty, dark, and dirty themes, characters, and more in our favorite reads. We are grown-ups most of the time talking about smutty things, so please check your surroundings and make sure no little ears are within listening distance, or your boss. While we explore a lot of topics and ideas, we do not necessarily condone them all. As always, please check the trigger warnings for each book we cover to protect your mental health, and please remember that we should only be as kinky as our partners allow.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Morally Gray Girlies, the podcast where we explore the steamy, suspenseful, and sometimes scandalous corners of romance fiction. We are thrilled to have S.J. Tilley, a best-selling author, with us today. Joining us today is the brilliant S.J. Tilley, yes, the S.J. Tilley, the author of Nero, Savage Hearts, and the whole lineup of dangerously addictive mafia romances. Her books are dark, sexy, and emotionally raw. And if you haven't met the men of her world yet, buckle up. SJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Like she said, I'm SJ Tilley. I write stuff all over the place, most known for my Alliance Mafia Men. If you're here, you probably like the dark stuff. But I also have like hockey, rom-com, small town, office, everything in between, because I'm chaos. So here we are.
We love it. We appreciate it all.
Yeah, thank you.
We do very much. So it's funny that you say that because our first question actually focused on that. So a lot of your reader fans, I should say, were introduced to you through Nero, book one of the Alliance series that immerses readers into your world of dark mafia romance. It was so fun to learn how diverse of a writer you are. You know, you're able to move from different genres and tropes like mafia to sports, age gap, and the blue collar, like your lovely little lumberjacks.
Our
With
mouth.
such ease. So what genre or trope or whatever you want to call it did you start with, and what made you want to diversify your writing like this?
So I feel like it's like so many readers, I'm a mood reader. So like I read everything. And I know some authors like to stick with one thing, but like I read everything, so I want to write everything. The first book I ever wrote was Sleek Kitten. So my hockey rom-com was the first one. I didn't publish it first. I published Mr. Sin first, which was romantic suspense. So like right off the bat, I wrote hockey rom-com and then romantic suspense. So that's like a reformed mafia family, mostly reformed, you know, people still die. So it's like my most underrated series, which is funny because it's also like the most similar to the Alliance, but somehow people just kind of skate by it, which is fine. People do what they want. But yeah, I enjoy everything, so I write everything, and I mean, they're all plus size girlies. All the guys are over the top, like insta lust, insta whatever. So like that's going to be the same, and it's all the same world. So you can kind of find some fun like Easter eggs and such. But I don't know. I don't want to get bored. So just mix it up.
Yeah, we love that. And of course, as a romance writer, we can't not ask you about the spice, right? Your spice scenes are so, well, spicy. Do you ever have a favorite trope or kink to write?
You know, I don't like, one of my favorites is age gap, which doesn't really have anything to do with like the spice, but I love that. So that kind of struggles when it comes to like sports romance and stuff, because like the dudes can only be so old, right? And my girls are only going to be so young. I have my love letters series where I have like a prequel where they meet in college. And like, that was honestly the hardest for me because it was like, I didn't want her to be a freshman because I didn't feel right writing someone that young. But I also love an age gap. So I'm like, they can only be like 1 year apart at that point. Like at the end. So I'm like, oh, I want them to be
Still
older.
counts.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm trying, but with the spice, I don't know. It's just, that's like the most fun part for me. Honestly, that's like the easiest part. Like if I need to get a chunk of pages written in a day and I have like a spicy scene, I'm going to hit my page goal. Where I know some other authors are like, I hate writing that and it takes me longer, but I don't know. I just enjoy the spicy bits, so makes it fun.
So do we.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Some of our favorite parts.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any research to go into like your spicy scenes? And if so, like, what does it really take for you to like get into it?
Okay. I admittedly do very little research on anything. Like I know I'm not a type A person. Like I'm an actual plotter when it comes to book, but like in real life, like I'm not a researcher. I am a wing it person. So like I'll get to a point in a scene where I might have to look up something, especially with like violence or weapons, and I'll just like pop over, Google it, look at 2 answers and be like, hey, good enough. So like there's not a lot of research that goes into my books. With the spicy scenes too, I'd say like the hardest part is like when you're like, okay, they need to do a different position. Like, and so it's like just thinking about like, okay, what's a different position? Because even though like they might just want to do it missionary again, but like we don't want to read that again, so it's like just more of remembering what you've done, how you need to change it up. And when you're like, I think I'm 21 titles in, something like that. So it's like there's been a lot of sex, and trying not to make them all the same, is I think more of the difficult part.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That makes total sense. It's like, how many different sex scenes can you write?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently a lot, but we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we love it. So keep it coming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No pun intended. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Very much intended.
Yes, we appreciate it. So as Morley Gray focus podcast, let's spend some time talking about Nero. So the book that lit up the dark romance scene. So what inspired the story for you, and how did the character of Nero come to life for you?
This is actually perfect timing too, because just last night I finished writing the bonus scene for Nero, because the paperbacks are getting republished by Entangled next January. And so I had to do like a bonus scene. And so it actually took me a hot minute to try to figure out what I wanted to do in that. So I'm listening to the audio of it now, because I really don't read my own books once they're out. But I'm like, it's been a while since I was in Nero's head. So I'm currently listening to Nero at the moment. I've got up to the concert scene. Yeah, right. But so this, and I love mafia. So here's the thing too, like once I started writing, I really don't read contemporary. So like I haven't read a mafia book since before I wrote The Alliance, but I read a shit ton of them before that because I just love it. Like I love everything. So now I mostly read paranormal, like Omegaverse, Shifter, and historical, because it's not what I'm writing. So I don't have to worry about like plot lines. Anyways, but all my books start with just like one scene, like one visual scene. And so for Nero, it happened to be the opening scene, which it's not always that way, but it was just like the visual of like looking at your patio, looking back at your patio, and like a dude standing there. And I was just like, but like make it hot, like, because that's also like the biggest fear, right? Is like
make it not
like,
creepy.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Fine line.
Yeah. Like I grew up in the country, you have like thunderstorms and stuff, and like you see like the flashes of lightning, whatever. You always like, what if something's out there, but like,
yeah.
But make it a hot mafia man standing in your doorway and like,
then all is
fine.
well.
Right. Yeah. So that was literally it. And so like I said, like outliner. So I like put that in my notes app, because that's how I outline. It's just my notes app. And like, then it's like, okay, what happens next? What happens, and then like, so it just kind of unraveled from there. And then King was born as his, accomplice. And there we go.
Fair enough.
Awesome.
I do love King.
I know I love King.
Like
He's a good
Nero's
time.
great. Nero's great.
Yeah.
But let's talk about King. No, okay.
King is my assistant's favorite book out of the series. Everyone has a favorite, and I totally get it. But like King is also special. So yeah.
He is very special. So all of us.
I was like, did we all read it or listen on audio? Like I think all of us did.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, we did
It was
audio.
really good on audio.
Yeah, we all did audio.
10 out of 10.
Those narrators are great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. Sorry, that came out so much worse than I thought it was.
Here for it. We love it.
So Nero definitely has that dark magnetism, and the chemistry between him and his love interest is just wow, right? So how do you balance the intensity of like mafia life with those vulnerable, intimate moments that we see between him and his spicy little lady?
His girl. I think it's to like they're never mean to the girls. Like it's like dark romance in the sense that there's violence and he's like a quote bad guy, but like it's not a bully romance. It's not like well, I mean, King kidnaps her, but not like in a bad way, like, because I have another author friend who, Alice Coldbreath, shout out, she does historical romance, freaking amazing. I love her. I've made her my friend. And so she read The Alliance, and she had never read dark romance. And she was like, oh, I was really worried that he was going to be mean to her, which look, I read the shit out of those books too. Like I love a bully. But but that's not what my guys are, So it's like, I think that makes it lighter, is that like, he was never going to be mean to her. I mean, like, there's a few moments where you're like, you want to punch him because he's being a dick, but he's being a dick to protect her, So I think that kind of lightens it up just automatically, because it was never gonna be anything but that. Like, they're always gonna be nice to each other. And then you have like the bromance part that just kind of unfolded throughout the series that I think brought another level of lightness. So even if they're like in the midst of murdering someone, like they're cracking jokes or something, So I think it's not so dark.
No, that's fair. I mean, that is the one thing I think I noticed quickly about Nero and King and stuff like that, is they still just seem like your average Joe Schmo in a lot of ways, despite being like these billionaire mafia guys.
Yeah.
And it's like, remember, the billionaires are people too.
Yeah, they're just guys, and guys are immature. Like, like it doesn't change.
True. Very true.
Oh, well, so we also noticed that your female characters are no pushovers. Speaking of, your male characters, they may be thrown into the dark worlds or challenging situations, but they always rise to meet them. So what was your inspiration on creating characters like Peyton?
It's just like every girl is a little different. And I appreciate you saying that too, because sometimes you get feedback where they're like, she's a doormat. And I'm like, and I've had people say that about some of my girls, and I'm like, I disagree. But I think it's whatever your viewpoint is. Cause like, when you get the first person POV and you get their internal thoughts, even if they're not fighting back like a lot, like in their circumstances, like you can see their strength and whatever else. And I think that says more about you guys to take that way than other people that are like, I want them to fight more, this or that. It's like, everyone can have their opinions. But I have, that's kind of a theme throughout all my books, is like the girls are usually facing some hardship. Not all of them, not every book. But they're also overcoming it on their own, in their own way. And like with Peyton and Nero, like Peyton had a really bad situation, but like she's choosing to be with Nero. Like she's choosing to open that door and let him in. And I think that that's important, even though we have HEAs and happily ever after, and they end up with the man, but also like, we can do it without them, guys. Like, they don't need them. They just choose to be with them. Yeah. And I think at the end of all of them, it's like, it's the women still choosing to be there. They might be forced into a situation, i.e. King. But at the end, like, she wants to stay. And so it's still her choice.
Yeah. No, I totally respect that.
Absolutely.
And I like how you point out that it's the reader's interpretation of it. And I think maybe sometimes when the readers have been through something harder, we tend to minimize that internal conflict that happens in these books, and that we forget that there is strength in more than just the physical. It's the mental will to do it. It's the mental will to also choose to stick around when things get tough. Like, that's strength in and of itself.
No, totally.
And like you said, you like age gaps. None of your girls are like ridiculously young by any means, but like, it was nice to read. This probably sounds really bad, but it was really nice to like read Peyton, who had been through like real trauma and fear in life. And it wasn't just like, I'm some skinny girl who's going to do a training montage and beat the entire world down.
I'm a student and I just found love and life is beautiful.
I'm 18 and magically a professional at everything that I do the first time.
Right. I can strip for money because I'm beautiful and I can dance and I'm perfect body and all this stuff that I've read so many of those books, and no shame. Those books are great, but also like, that's not my experience in life. And with Peyton too, like, I also love a virgin trope, but like, it has to be realistic. And like, so she was the first time I got to do that. The only time, I think. Anyways, I think so. But like, it had to make, like, with her backstory, like, I feel like it made sense, but it is really a reader's interpretation. And I had, this is what sparked all my emails going to my assistant rather than coming to me, was someone sent me this big long hate email about Dear Rose. I think it was Dear Rosie. Which I love that book. Totally different than these other ones. But like, she's gone through some shit in that book. Like, I've never cried so much in my life than writing that book. And this person like writing me like, she wouldn't react this way. She would have done this. And I'm like, I'm sorry. How would you know? Like, like, first, also, it's fiction, guys. Yeah. Like, so it's all made up. Like, this didn't actually happen. And it's like, and I made it up, so I can tell you exactly what happened. But it was like, yeah. And how you would react to things. And I'm like, I love that you think you would react differently and that you would have, like, the first time you saw this person be like, I'm this, but it's like, That's not realistic. Not everyone in that flight or flight moment. Some people flight, like, and that's totally realistic. And also books can go in whatever direction the author wants them to. So
Absolutely.
And
And that's the joy of reading it, is figuring out what is going to go different than what we thought would happen. Yes,
Right.
it can be severely infuriating sometimes,
Yeah.
but
Right.
that's part of what you sign up for. It's the same as with movies. You never know fully
Yeah.
what's going to happen. And if you do, then it wasn't really a good experience, right?
Right, exactly.
And I think for readers, like, sometimes we forget as consumers, like, it's okay to not agree with everything. Like, you can still be like, I don't agree with that decision. But, like, I've read books where I haven't either agreed with the main character or I would have done something different myself. But, like, it's not me. That's the best part.
Right. Yeah. And you can DNF.
You can, or like you
Right.
can enjoy it for being like a different viewpoint. I mean,
Mhm.
that's why we started reading as humans to begin with, right? To like spread ideas and like knowledge. So
Yeah. It's a story. Enjoy the story. Yeah. Or don't. But I mean, DNF. I'm here for DNFs, guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to read it if you don't like it.
That was my thought. I'm like, you have a choice. And that's even with the character developments with the females, it's like it's all about choice, right? So they have a choice, and it's like powerful in that sense too, that they chose this, or they don't choose it, or they eventually choose it. It's all about coming to what they want out of their life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, sure. Good. All right. So let's change it up a little bit. So we love to see the current book world through our favorite members or favorite authors' eyes. So what is your take on the most recent trends in romance and dark fiction? Any tropes that you love or hate?
I love so much. So I don't read contemporary. I love paranormal. I am currently reading Devney Perry's Shield of Sparrows.
Oh.
Shield of Sparrows. Is that what it's called? I'm sorry. I'm terrible with titles. But I'm just here I'm here for everything. I love the dark. I wish I could read more of it. I know there's so many more amazing mafia books out there that I just haven't gotten to. I have friends that write it that I haven't read. But I also love to read the sort of stuff I write. So like, I love an age gap. I love the obsessive. I love the spice. I'm here for all of it.
Interesting. With the age gap, I'm intrigued. Does that like represent anything in your day-to-day life?
My husband is 8 years older than I am.
Yes.
But so I'm like, so for me, like, that's like the minimum age gap, right? Like and again, men are immature. So I feel like you gotta go older. Maybe at some point it just kind of evens out. But we've been together for like 14 years, I think. So I had to go older. Yeah.
Tanner and I are the resident age gap queens. My husband is 7 years older than me. Tanner enjoys a silver fox every once in a while.
Who doesn't?
And mafia is my thing. So
yeah. So you're married to a mafia man.
I like them young and hot.
That's like
there's nothing wrong with that either. Like,
I mean, like a 2 to 4 year, I feel like is fair.
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
Like you said, at some point it doesn't matter maturity wise. It's just kind of wherever they
plateau.
fall on the level. So
yeah. No, they definitely just even out.
Yeah.
I will say this: she has a thing for an age gap when it's a 500-year-old fae, though.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I'll
see,
take one of those any day.
Yeah. I feel like that has to be like, could you like?
No.
Like a 30-year-old vampire, you're like.
You get the one fae guy who's like 32, and you're like,
I was just born.
Yeah, you're like a toddler. Like, this is weird. Yeah.
I'm basically 3 in fae years.
Yeah, pretty much. I love that.
Oh Lord. Okay. What do you think is a common misconception that people have about dark romance authors?
Man, oh good. Like, this could go endless. Like, I think people that read dark romance get it. People that read romance, period, usually get it. But people outside of romance have misconceptions about romance authors in general. Also, and then once you add in like the dark level, I think it's mostly people that have not read books, and they just have these ignorant viewpoints about like, oh, you must be messed up in the head, or you must be sick, or you must be twisted, or this or that, or like, and it amazes me in an annoying way. Like, when I first started writing too, and I didn't have any friends in this world, like I was not a part of the book world. I just started writing, and like my people in my regular life, weren't romance readers, you know, and I get it, but like the questions I'd ask be like, oh, is your sex life like this? Is this really what? And I'm like, if I wrote thrillers, would you ask if I murdered people? You know, like it's like was somehow because it's romance, y'all think it's appropriate, or you think that like I have not had sex in a dungeon in front of a captive. Like, sorry, like is that disappointing? Like, what do you think I do? Like,
A little
it's just
disappointing.
yeah, right. I mean, honestly, but it's like the questions you get, and also like the personal things people will share back. Like, and now that I'm more immersed in the book world, people don't really do this, but I had a lot of like regular people then telling me like their own sex life stuff. Where I'm like, I'm not interested. I like reading it about people I don't know. Like, I don't want to hear it about people I do know. Like, that's different. Unless you're like my good friend, then you can tell me whatever you want. But like, this is different. So I think that, yeah, I feel like
save that for your therapist.
Like literally get a therapist, get a friend. Like that's too, when we're talking about like people that don't like books, you can vent about books all you want to your friends, not to the author. Like, especially too, like I had someone recently give me feedback about an audiobook. They didn't like the way the female narrator did something. And I was like, well, I'm sorry. I really like it. It's how I wanted. It's the narrator I chose. I'm like, and it's done, so it's not going to change. Oh, I wasn't asking you to change it. I'm like, well, then what am I supposed to do with this information? You know, like, it's like stuff like that where it's like, you're just making me feel bad and you're making me mad. Like, you know, because it's like, and the consequence of that is, like I said, like now all my emails go to my assistant and then she forwards me ones that are appropriate for me to read. And like the more and more shitty messages readers send to authors, the less and less like we're going to check messages. Because those, like the negative stuff sticks with you so much more than the positive stuff. And I know so many more people like my things than dislike it. But the ones that like send you the nasty stuff, you're like I'm a person. I don't like hearing this, you know, like I'm gonna start making comments on like your pictures of your kids. How would you like that? You wouldn't, you know, like, so stop it.
Your baby is ugly.
Yeah, like 3 stars. How do you like it? Yeah.
No, it's a solid point. Like we're even seeing that now with Navessa Allen's audiobook for Caught Up. Like that was a huge thing recently. If anybody else has been following that, you know, listeners, like I think it was she casted Teddy Hamilton as the voice, and everyone was so upset that it wasn't Jacob Morgan. They were like, I don't like Teddy Hamilton's voice. They were like coming for Navessa Allen, like pretty much demanding that she try to change it. And I'm like, no one's making you. You can just read the book. Right. You don't have to listen to it.
Right. Which is wild too, because Teddy Hamilton is crazy popular, you know.
10 out of 10, highly recommend.
And that's the thing. Like, and I've definitely read all that stuff, and I've followed a bunch of people that have shared stuff about it now too. Cause I'm like, all right, I like your take. And it's like, so not only is it rude to the author, but also like Teddy Hamilton has feelings. Can we not like address that part? You know, it's just like, come on.
And I think too, you know, it's that sort of like double-edged sword where it's like the internet has given us this book community and has really like allowed authors and like us to connect with like audiences and vice versa. But at the same time, it's like anybody with an iPhone or like the Instagram app can now be like, thinks that they're a professional like reviewer or critic, and like just thinks that they're entitled to like give their opinion unfiltered, and you forget that there's like a person behind the screen, right?
100%. And it's like that parasocial aspect of, if you interact with someone, you think you're friends with them. And like, and sometimes it does. Like I have become actual friends with a lot of readers, but then there's a lot of people too that like they send you a message or two and then they're like, oh, now I can give you feedback. And it's like, also, me personally, I am a like stubborn ass Aries. I don't like feedback at all. Like I don't want it, period.
Keep your opinion to yourself, thank you.
Like literally, like it just sends me. And so it's like, this isn't gonna make us friends either. Like this just made me mad, you know, like, and too, like when people kind of make it like joking, like I had a cover reveal and someone didn't like his hair and sent me, like took a screenshot of it, circled it, did LOL, sent it to me and was like, can we talk about this hair though? I really hate this, huh? And I'm like, I don't think this is funny. And please don't send me this again. And they're like, oh, I was just kidding. I'm like, again, like these are really personal to me, to every author. Like we put literal tears into this, hours, like we choose the covers, we work with this, like none of this is just an accident. So it's like, I know you think it's funny, but yet again, like if I send me your kid's school photo, let me circle some things, write LOL, send it back. Do you think it's funny or is this personal?
It's hideous.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Like, I know as consumers too, like before I started writing, like I was a book a day person, like a lot of readers are. And so I think when you can consume a book in a day, you sometimes forget that it takes a lot longer to create it, you know? And so it's like that's hours and hours and hours of like time that go into it. Even if it's a rom-com, like these people still put, you know, their like heart and soul into these books, and they're emotional, which is why you like them, you know, because it evokes emotion. But like we're emotional people. Like that's why we can write emotion, is because like I cry over everything. So it's like don't make your favorite authors cry. Like that's just, come on, guys. Don't be that.
That's how you get blocked.
Literally. Have done, will do again. So
absolutely. And it's so funny that you say, well, I mean, it's not funny that you say that, but it's funny because you're not the first author we've had on here that's like talked about these things. Like we interviewed Alexandra St. Pierre last month, and we had a very similar conversation. Like she was talking about how her books represent, like, she has a lot of like current day political, religious kind of things that pop in there. So she gets so much negative criticism on it, and people are like, well, I don't like that you mentioned that in there. No one made you read it.
Yeah.
No one said, I'm going to go. Yeah. Nobody said, look at this book, read the words, consume it. Like no one forced that onto you.
Yeah.
So like you said, DNF, don't read it. Read what it's about before you put your eyeballs onto it. Right.
Yeah. Well, and too, like I've had this discussion with other authors, like, and just creators in general, that like people that can't read between the lines to like really get that message. And then like I'll post anti-Trump stuff in my stories and people be like, I can't believe I read your books. I'm never going to read you again. And I'm like, did you read it though? Like in what world do you
see the parallels?
Yeah. I'm like, in what world do you think I would support something like this? You know, like it's just like, but y'all are watching Star Wars and cheering for the Jedi and not the Sith, but in real life you're voting for that. So like you can't make it make sense. But I do have a very I do enjoy it when people send me shit about that. Like if you're sending me bad stuff about my stories, that pisses me off. But if you're gonna like send me hate about my political stance, I will donate $100 to Planned Parenthood in their name, like publicly, and then I share it. So I love it. So I'm like, if you want to send me hate,
that's so savage.
It's so satisfying. And I always gain more people than I lose every time it happens. So
that's fair. That's so
and
fair.
I want an audience that I enjoy. So, you know, and it helps the world a little. So here we are.
Absolutely. It's a win for you.
It is. Like I got nothing better to do with my time, you guys. So.
So speaking of like Star Wars and just pop culture in general, if your books were turned into a Netflix series, who would you cast as your favorite hero or anti-hero?
See, this is where I am terrible with names of anybody and anything. It would be an absolute dream if it could get, honestly, like Netflix more than I would say like a movie, because I think with like the Alliance, it would have to be like an ensemble cast. Like you'd have to have good actors for each of the guys.
Absolutely.
Which can be done, you know, like I don't have, and that's the problem too, is like I do not have any real life people in mind ever, like actors or anything like that, when I'm like creating characters, writing characters. So this is the worst answer ever. I have literally not a single like person to give you. Maybe that, is it Michael Monroe, when whoever
Michelle
did the
Moran?
360? Michelle, there we go. Yeah.
We are his number one fan.
Hot. Yeah. I feel like he could probably be Nero. I would do that. Beyond that, like I couldn't picture, I don't know, but I'm happy to have fans cast that for me.
It for you.
That would be fun.
We love a good fan cast.
Drop your fan casts.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, we'd love to hear them.
I would too.
Yeah. That could be a fun video. Yeah. All right. So before we wrap up, I know you talked about the bonus chapter for Nero. What else is next for you? Any upcoming works we should be keeping our eyes out for, or?
Yeah. So, okay. Book 2 in the Mountain Men series, Mountain Daddy. It comes out July 31st, which I'm very excited about. He is currently being recorded for audio. I have the same narrators, Connor Crace and Aaron Mallon. Oh my God, I was like blanking. I'm like, do I have the names right? For duet narration, because they did Mountain Boss, such a good job. I need to start writing book 3 in the Mountain Men series. That is 3 books total, so it's a final book. That one comes out November 20th. Haven't started.
You work fast. Dang,
Yeah.
girl. No.
I have to turn it into my editor September 1st. So I've got a little over 3 months. I have every 4 months for the next 24 months, I have to turn a book in. And this is all of my own doing. But so I have like 6 books stacked up. And unfortunately, like that clock starts like the day I turn one in, and I never start right away. So it's really like 3 months with like kind of a month in between of getting edits back and whatever. So I have the bonus scenes for the Alliance. I still have the next 3 to do. Have to get those to Entangled. I have gotten the very first draft of the new Nero cover, which I'm very excited about. Some things will be changing. I don't know once it's all approved how quickly that'll be shared, but I'm excited for that. Then I have a super secret project. And then after that, I will be writing, and I've kind of talked about this before, so it's not really a spoil, but it's the spin-off series for the Alliance. It's another dark romance series. I have this in like my FAQs on my page. If anyone's interested, go to the top of my like Instagram. Kane from Hans, he's like the arms dealer. We have Tony Stolman, who's from a couple books in different series. And then we have 2 other characters you haven't met yet. So that's a new series, and that will be my writing project for 2026. So,
Wow.
Love it.
yeah.
So much work
So much
coming.
to look forward to.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's a lot. I have to think one book at a time because otherwise it's overwhelming. But I have several. I think I have like 11 outlines going right now. So it's like, it's good to get some off my plate so I can add some more.
Oh my! I don't know how you keep everything on track.
It's my notes app. Like I said, I have a different one for every book, every outline going. Some outlines are very short. Some of them are like books ready to go. So it's everything in between.
Fair
But
enough. Okay.
It's chaos.
That's so cool.
It's genius. It's creative genius.
It's something. Yeah.
If you have it any other way, right?
Yeah. It's unmedicated something, but it's working right now. So we're leaving it alone.
That's so funny. All right, perfect. So the last thing we would like to do with you, we would love to play a quick little game if you're open to it. The game is called Trope or Nope.
Ooh.
We're gonna name some tropes rapid fire. So don't think too much about it, just rapid fire. And you tell us trope or nope based on if you would write it or have written it or if you love it, or avoid it with a 10-foot pole.
There's only like 2 that I'm gonna nope. So I'm curious if you have any others. All right.
If they're not on here, we need to know what they are.
Okay, I will. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So first one is Secret Baby.
That's a nope. That is my hard nope.
Wow.
Hell nope.
Starting off strong. Yes. All right. Fake dating.
I agree with that.
Right.
That's fair. Fake dating.
Trope. Love it.
Fair enough. Boss or employee.
Absolute trope. Hell yeah.
Perfect. Enemies to lovers.
Smash. Trope. Yes. Yeah.
Second chance or redemption.
I'm gonna say trope because I've actually written it, but typically it's not my go-to. But like I've had my mind changed on this, so we'll trope it.
Fair enough. Forced proximity.
Trope. Love. Yes.
Amnesia.
Oh, okay. As someone who loves Overboard, trope. I'm gonna do it. Like
that's so fair.
if you haven't
So
seen
fair.
that movie, like the original,
Yes.
fucking watch it.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Kidnapped by the villain and falling in love.
Trope. I'm gonna
Yep.
trope that. Yeah.
For sure. He falls first, but she falls harder.
Oh, harder. I'm gonna nope that one. I'm here for him always falling first, but I don't want her to fall harder. Like,
You know what?
I like that.
yeah, hell no.
I like that.
I feel
And
like
I'm
the
gonna
man
add
always
one
needs
more.
to love her a little bit more.
Yes,
like a little.
100%.
Like
They
it
need,
needs to,
yeah,
like,
right. Because again, we can survive without them. They can't do the. So,
Agreed.
Fair enough. And then I have one more for you. Love triangle.
That's my other nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Wow.
I saw that one coming.
Woo,
Nope.
we got both of them on here. I love that.
We got 2.5-ish.
Yeah. Right.
We're
And
right.
look, I will caveat, I will read all of them, but like the love triangle stresses me the fuck out. Like I like have read a book like recently. I'm like sent people on. I'm like, go read all the spoilers. I need to know. I just need to know. I need to know what I'm getting into. I'll still finish reading it, but like you got to tell me
That's
because I don't like falling for the wrong guy. I've been burned by this, and that's.
I'm too much of a why choose girly to be okay with a love triangle.
Yeah.
Like I just read a book
Both.
that has been a love triangle, and I'm like, why can't she just have them both?
Have them both. I love white shoes. Yeah, 100%.
It infuriates me.
And they should be falling more for her anyways. So like she can just have both. They can deal with it.
They can deal with it.
They can deal with it.
Yeah.
Learn how to share, fellas. No.
Yeah. That was a great list. That was good.
Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the time that we have today. So thank you so much for joining us today, SJ. And thank you, girlies, for tuning in. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe for more morally gray girlies content. Say that 10 times fast. And follow author SJ Tilly on Instagram and TikTok to keep up with her latest work. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.